Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Chiming with Jaleesa. This is part two of our episode with Marissa Bruce. And without further ado, let's get into it. Brief intermission. So we were talking about how you went back for homecoming, all the people that I genuinely think we really found community in, because not only were a lot of us young Black females at a school in North Carolina just trying to make it through. Let's be so for real.
Can we be for real?
Let's keep it a buck right now. And there were times girls were button heads too. I mean, there was a lot of people
Yeah.
that didn't rock with everybody. And that's not to say everybody had to be happy best
Best
friends,
friends forever. Yeah, nah.
but I think something that a lot of small schools especially lack is the ability to, I'm not, again, not saying have to be best friends,
Yeah,
but we can't tear each other down. And that goes for like people in general. I'm not even
exactly.
just saying women. I'm saying the guys and girls that went to that school, we were so always so quick. I'm 100% guilty.
Yeah.
Like throw somebody else under the bus because you're like, hell no, that has nothing to do. Like we were so quick to be
Hmm.
upset about something, to want to snap back and, do all these things. We were so reactive.
Exactly.
And it's a part of growing up. But I think something that didn't help us was that there was such a feeling, I think, for me and you and a lot of others, obviously, but like obviously it's just me and you here. Uh, that like there were so many people against us
Yeah,
at certain points in time. Like
absolutely.
everybody's gonna have a hater.
And
Look,
yeah,
you can't have this world without haters.
exactly.
But and y'all make life a little bit harder.
Yeah, dang, y'all, we was in the trenches. For real, we fought our way out. Like this was a lot.
Fought our way out.
I mean, fought, baby, fought.
I fought tooth and nail.
Tooth and nail. And I think the thing that we have to start realizing is that everybody's going through something. And the hard part about it is you just never know how what you do today and how you treat people today will come back tomorrow. And I think that the thing about that with us at that such a small school where we need community and then being a small population of the people, right? Like there's only a certain amount of Black people at a school like that, and let alone women
And student
and
athlete,
student
Black women,
athletes, Black women, and
student
child.
athletes in general. Like you take the school itself, it's already small. Every other little group is so much tinier.
Pioneer.
And so we didn't have a community of self. And
Yeah.
I really think that impacted a lot of how we experienced our small college. And obviously, you're not going to get that at a D1. I've been to two D1s now, one being grad school, one where I currently work.
Yeah.
You don't have those kinds of issues. You have those issues in the student athlete population. You don't
Yeah.
have it across the school
Across the,
because
yeah.
they don't know each other like that. Like they don't see each other every single day. At
Yeah.
our school, you saw them every
Every single
single day,
day.
like without fail, unless you were me and you and we are in our rooms.
Oh man.
But
I
again,
totally
disclaimer,
agree.
don't do that. Don't isolate
No.
people.
The biggest mistake I made was when I was getting deeper into the hole. Um, I isolated myself thinking that I had to find community in certain people. And I think that when you're in a season where you're struggling and like reach out and get help. It doesn't even have to be like for me, I know I wanted that validation from like teammates or people who was in my circle every day, right? But that's not where I found community. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't until I ventured out of that and got some help. I had to talk to the therapist. I'm like, listen, lady, I don't I don't want to be here. Like it got very, very bad. I think that was like 2018 time period or whatever, like maybe sophomore year, like close to Christmas, maybe like getting towards the end of the year. I saw no hope. I could feel like I could see nothing, feel nothing. I was detached. Like, and I know people that knew me from home were like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on? I blocked them out, isolated, and I really did not want to be here. And it was a very scary, scary, scary place to be. And it wasn't until I said, okay, I'm here at this point. Either I can give up and be done, And I tried to be done, but God said he had other plans. Okay. I tried to be done.
Thank the Lord he had other
He
plans.
had other plans. And so like I was like, okay, I'm at rock bottom. The only place that I can go is up. So genuinely, that's when I was like, okay, I've got to find community and I've got to find things bigger than myself because I'm not the center of the universe. And I feel like that's where, okay, we talk about faith and reaching out and getting help, helping people figure out how to regulate their processes, things like that are so important. So like I advocate for everybody. I think everybody, I'm not one of those girls, everybody needs therapy, but I will say everybody does need a place where you can be checked and be accountable for how you're thinking, why you're feeling the way you are. Because a lot of times that like internal reflection is going to help you figure out where you need to go and like things that you could be doing to change your situation. Because like at the end of the day, we have a lot of power in terms of how we change things that happen, around us and how we experience the things that happen to us. A lot of things are perception based. And I feel like I could only see the light when I started getting help and realizing, hey, I might feel alone or whatever in this setting, but this is not the only place that there is, right? Like that's why our simple little coffee dates were important because you're like, hey, like I've been struggling. Like, oh, like me too. What about, what can we do to make that better? Can we check in? Can we be accountable? I feel like that right there started that process where I began going on the up and up. And then right when I felt like I was getting there towards the time that COVID hit, that's when they took away my party season. I was ready, but it's fine.
Quick college story. Because we are in such a beautiful place being inspirational and talking about our lives. Mm-hmm. When I tell y'all we got robbed of the best party season we were supposed to have.
Oh, man.
That was going to be.
We had the parties already stacked. Like it was like
we had 2 or 3 weekends already planned out.
We had literally just gotten to school, mind you. And I was like, oh, hey, sign up for these things, make sure y'all got these dates down like as soon as we get out of preseason, as soon as you get out of your game.
That made me sick.
It's on and popping, like we're ready because we, of course, our school was small, whatever, so when we had the chance to venture out, we did, and it was the best thing ever because we weren't confined to the walls of Catawba. We definitely were outside and well but we were robbed. COVID hit, and that was going to be the best, I think, maybe movie worthy era of us.
It was going to be a movie. And the thing that really makes me sad about it, obviously, we knew at that point, regardless of how or when we came back to school, back to campus, there was going to be no party season.
Yeah, no party season. Some of y'all got COVID. Can't do it.
No, my favorite. Let me another quick. So the story that I was about to tell, it dealt with a pool party. We're leaving out all names of everything. Do not say no name. However, if you're listening, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There was a specific school that we would go to. They had a pool party. Mm-hmm. Because of that pool party, it made us go, all right, bet. When we hit springtime, party season gonna go crazy because of this one party that we had. Because again, not only did we go to other parties because our school is small, but whether we were going through it or not, me and Rissa are still very much like personable people. There's gonna be a whole bunch of people that like hear this and gonna be like, Jaleesa's mean.
Right. Like Marissa, that girl was sad.
She was always sad. She was always rude. Like there was always screaming at people in school.
Yeah, some of y'all did not appreciate the hype ups. I'm gonna tell you that. Y'all don't appreciate the hype. Like we have a gift of, when you have a gift of speaking life into people, I feel like that's a really powerful thing. How me and Jay do it, we kind of are like, you working, baby.
Mind you,
y'all didn't appreciate.
You know where our school is? We'd be on opposite
side. Like working.
Shouting. And people, we would get the worst side eyes just.
And I was like, I'm already sad. You really
Y'all already don't like me. I don't
like me tonight.
I don't care. I almost
Yeah.
said something crazy.
The pool party was crazy, man.
No, the pool party was fun. There was
Can-
obviously a
the-
lot more of our school's population there than we thought, but we still had a
Ooh.
good time
The
because
way that I was catching people in 4K, I'm going to tell y'all something. I
the
know
way we caught some people in
uh,
4K
the things that, and thank
was fun.
God that like I have changed, but the things that I really, really knew that I never spoke on, some of y'all owe me a thank you for y'all relationships. I want to say that. Because the things we knew, let's be serious. Because we was out, mind you. Anywho.
Also, wait, Rissa can sing for anybody who don't know.
Oh God.
Can sing. So
Oh girl.
when I tell you like those car rides were therapeutic for us,
Girl, what?
didn't matter what we was playing. I was singing her song in the back.
Girl, what? That was my little concert. I have a mic in my
I
car.
thought we were at a Beyonce concert for real.
Girl, it's really Beyonce. Ew. Girl, I'll be in the car screaming for my life.
Please, you ever laugh real hard and it hurt, Becky? I've been thinking.
Because honestly though, y'all find y'all's outlet like I found mine, because I love to sing, but there's certain gifts we have. Like my friend here writes poetry. Remember that? But I feel like it's that gift of expression, and I really, really have that. And I'm grateful. I think the way that we feel things has been like, I think we feel things a lot deeper than a lot of people that I know.
I was gonna
Maybe
get into
that's
that.
just being more in tune with like emotional things or whatever it is. But I feel like that is a gift in terms of expression, because like when I sing, people are like, wow, I really hear that you went through things, or I whatever. And like I feel like that's my like outlet. And like my friend here writes beautifully, words that I could never even come up with, the way that it flows and ebbs. It just, that's a gift. And I feel like we should talk about that as well. Like talk about that more as a community. Cause it be ebbing and flowing. Yeah. Rhythm and flow.
Oh.
Hustle and flow.
Something a lot of people don't know is that, yes, I wrote spoken word quite often in college. Um,
The words were spoken. Thank you. They were spoken.
she spoke them. And when I tell y'all, I originally just started writing it because I was like, I need to get everything up here, need to get it out because I'm drowning in thoughts. And I remember one day I went to Rissa and I was like, hey, like, read this over. Like, tell me what this makes you feel, kind of deal. Not that I was like looking for like, ooh, tell me if I'm good enough, but I just wanted somebody else to like read it, somebody that I thought would really understand me. And obviously I got very nice words of
Hey.
not only reassurance, but like validation of like, hey, like you have every right to feel these things and all this stuff. But Rissa gave me the competence, that too. The
Yeah,
confidence.
competence and the competence.
I needed both.
You needed both.
To go and perform said
Mm.
spoken word. A mutual friend of ours in college, he started putting on these little happenings or whatever, these little open mic nights at this
Yeah.
spot down in like downtown of our like little again, small college town.
Oh.
We was down at the spot. And I remember I sat there and I said, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And Rissa didn't tell everybody what the poem said, but she basically went around to the homies. She was like, hey, convince Julissa to go do it. Like she needs to go do it.
Yeah.
And so I did eventually.
So
I
proud.
did it twice, I think. And they were such good experiences. And I think it really gave me this space to not only allow myself to put the words together and express myself, but now it's given me part of how I've now developed my podcast.
Oh, I love
So
that.
if we really look at things, Riss has been like there consistently through a lot of like where if I wasn't a good friend and this was me, like if I was in Rissa's place to me and I was like, I would have jumped ship. I ain't even gonna cap.
Oh no. You are worth it though. You were staying on the boat. Remember that. You were there. Well,
We trying to get to the treasure at the bottom, dog.
yeah, I honestly think that those times, like seeing you in your, state and feeling like, dang, she's able to express what she's going through so beautifully. I feel like that also was some of the first times that I really, really saw you. Like I always knew, because I mean, when you're going through it, you're presenting, like how you present to the world is not always what you're feeling inside. And for me and Jay, we're very energetic and bubbly people. So a lot of people are not going to be like, oh, they're, something's wrong with them. It was like, oh, hey, girl, that. We always talk like that, you know? So I feel like you allowing me in that way just kind of allowed me to see like, wow, like, okay, like now I know, I'm saying, that we're connected in more ways than whatever. And now I can see you clearly. Now I see, okay, like, hey, friend, like, are you struggling? Like, are you okay? Or what's going on? It's lovely.
And that just like reminds me of how, again, you and our other group that I'm not going to name drop completely
Again.
even though I've already not have their permission to name drop.
Right.
It was so important because like there was certain people that we spoke to, that we put ourselves around, that we could sit there and again be going through hell.
Oof.
And we go to these people, and again, because of the extremes that me and you still, I won't say extremes, that's not the word I want. Because of the lengths me and you still go, like,
yeah,
it shows that not only, and I'm still able to be vulnerable with all of these people in that group, in those groupings, because not all of us always mix together at the same time.
yeah.
It was always just like whoever was around kind of deal. But there was always a sense of like, if I go to Riss, can I say this without her giving me advice that I don't want right now? Like, and
Yeah.
that started the process of when I am like, if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, like, I'm really going through this, can we talk about it? The growth that me and you have had has now let me go, okay, 100%, I'm here to listen. Do you want me just to listen? Do you want me to offer advice? Do you want me to give you comfort? And I now have this in the back of my head because so consistently, Riss, you did that for me. There were so many times that like I didn't want to hear anything. I was just like, this is how shitty I feel.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going through. This is my situation. I hate everything about it. And you sat there with me through that and let me get the words out. Let me just rant and get it off. And then I think most of the time it'd be like a couple days later or something. I'd be like, hey, like, you know how I was feeling the past couple days? Like,
Yeah.
what should I do? Like, should I go talk to this person? Should I wipe it away because I
Wipe
don't
it
care
away.
anymore?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? And eventually my rant would turn into, hey, Riss, I'm not asking for all the answers, but can you help me out? Because I can't do this alone. And
Exactly.
again, that brings me to the whole point of having community, that you don't have to go through life alone. And Riss is a prime example of somebody who's still currently very much involved in my life. So much so that I've harassed her for a while about being on my podcast.
Yeah. But we are locked in forever. Tight like a booty hole.
One thing
Oh,
I'm not gonna do is play with you.
please don't take me serious, y'all. I have a problem. But honestly, I think too that we talk about this with our friends, but also making sure they have the capacity or the space like to listen to you. Sometimes we come in, we just dump on our friends and we expect them to carry our burdens. And that's something that I had to learn, and something someone actually told me when I was at Catawba was like, hey, like when you come to me, it's always about like what you're going through. And sometimes that's heavy for me. And I was offended at first, but then I realized, hey, this person also needs their space. And sometimes you're not in the mental space. So like giving each other that time to be like, hey, like, are you like, can you listen for a second or whatever? Just those small check-ins have made such a difference. And like, I think now learning the things that we've learned, because there were so many lessons to learn, but it's also that people who love you can speak the truth to you, and most of the time you're not offended. And like, of course, like some things are going to hit, but it reminds me, for those of you who don't know, I mean, I'm a Christian. So, like it's like this verse in Proverbs. It talks about how like gracious words are like honey, like sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. So it talks about stuff like that. And I feel like one thing that Jay is really, really good about doing, and I encourage everybody to kind of take an approach like that, is the truth can be spoken um, like in love without being harsh. So there's a lot of people I know that be like, I just can't tell you the truth because whatever. I'm just gonna tell it to you like this. I'm just blunt. But it's like that's not showing concern for the other person on the other side of that. And I feel like we always think the truth has to come in like a hard hitting way. But like, I remember like a lot of times I'd say, Jay, like, I just feel like this, that, and the other. An example would be like, I came to her, like, I'm not playing. I'm really, really sad. I don't know like where to go, this, that, and the other. And she's like, well, guess like your worth's not found in those things. Like, like just know that I'm here and you have community outside of this. This is just something that you do. It's not who you are, but your feelings are completely valid in that. And of course, like we place so much in that, our identity and things like that. And, just held me and hugged me while I cried and things like that. But it's like the words that she spoke, she told me the truth in that whole sentence. Hey, you're finding your validation here. That's not where it is. This is not who you are. This is what you do. You know what I mean? And it was so many times like that where like things like that are really, really healing to the soul. So I like that encouragement. I encourage everybody to be the kind of friend that Jay is to me, in that way of just really be encouraging, but also love your friends. Like when you're telling them the truth, love them through that. Don't just give it to them like however, just because you can. That's not, I don't know. Like I just feel like that's not considerate. And for me, the highest form of love in a lot of ways is consideration.
I think
Because
I think that's such a good and valid point because like for me and you, especially being athletes, like we are going through similar stuff and we put so much of our identity in being an athlete that regardless of what we did, it was going to affect that status. So obviously when I got hurt,
yeah,
I didn't know because I got hurt 3 days after we got told to go home for COVID. And I had to, oh, no, that's not when I got hurt. That's when I had surgery. I had
surgery.
surgery 3 days after we got told to go home. And from that moment, it hit me like, as of right now, I'm no longer an athlete because I didn't know if I was going to have that chance again. And I went to risk in tears and in rage. Like I was pissed because the first 2 years I had at Catawba,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be real, and this is a little bit harsh on myself. I sucked.
Me too. I mean, can we actually be for real?
I
Like,
wasn't good. I will never go to somebody and tell them I was the best damn Division II athlete there was. Because
no,
guess what? One thing I'm always gonna tell somebody, the bulk of my scholarship was academic because I was smart.
period.
I was fortunate to get an athletic one to help pay for school.
Yeah,
It wasn't a given. I didn't go through high school going, I'm going to get offers. I didn't even know if I was going to go to college. I didn't
right.
know if college was in the books for me. But I happen to also be smart. So, like, that helps me out a little bit.
Period. Come on, smart girl. Smart girl.
Okay, degrees.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's a hard thing to like really come to terms with. But like one thing I think you can hear from us is that we're always gonna be honest. So genuinely, like I think something that really, really helped too, like moving towards the end of this season was realizing, okay, listen, I'm not the best athlete I could be. I'm not the best. Let's be serious, And
Yeah, let's
especially
be so real.
when your mental space is not in a good place as well, you literally can't perform. You fight your way out of it, but you're trying to fight, but it's like you're fighting against two or three things versus most people are like, oh, I'm just like, I had a bad day, I can get better. For us, we were like in these seasons where it was like everything was dark and then you got to wake up and go to practice, go to weights, go, get extra things on your own. It was so much. And I feel like it just led me to not be great in any capacity. Like I couldn't even be good at things I knew that I was good at, And so now, like, moving forward or fast forwarding kind of to the end of that, like, I think COVID was a hard time for sure, but it kind of allowed me the chance, like, because we were so isolated and had to hang out in groups and things like that, kind of allowed me the space to deal with the things I felt like I needed to, and come back into things with new perspective. And like the importance of perspective is insane, because I think I remember telling everybody, like, like, oh, like, I don't know, like, if how my teammates feel about me and X, Y, and Z or whatever, and that was a hard time in life because I felt invalidated by them, right? And that's where I was seeking it. But when I kind of found identity, like, found myself again, I literally came back, same people, same team, same things, right? And I told one of them, like, hey, listen, I feel like you leave me out and like whatever it is. And she was like, if you want to come, literally just come. And instead of doing what I would have normally done in that time when I was so hurt, I was like, okay, I'm gonna come. I just started showing up, and we all like ended up, not all, but majority of us ended up being so close. And now these are people that I go visit for homecoming or a birthday, or like just call to check in. And I feel like that is the importance of perspective and understanding, like, yeah, things can be dark, but they won't be forever, And sometimes, like, you meet people in life and you're not even sure, like, why they're there. But, I felt like these people were called to me in a sense, to show, hey, like, you know, there are things or times and seasons where, you could be not getting along with people or things. And like, you could feel like that's the end of the world. But like, on the other side of that is a brighter day, you know? And it takes time.
It takes time. And a lot of what you were saying reminds me of a couple things my mentor told me.
Ooh.
And I think you're going to hear these and freaking love them, because I do. And like, I think you're going to see a lot of what we went through really aligns with what
Yeah.
this is. So the first thing is that you're running from a nightmare, but you're not headed toward a dream. We
Mm.
spent so much time at Catawba running from the pain and the anger and how upset we were, but we didn't know where we were going next because we were so focused on getting out of it and like
Being out
trying
of
to
the bad
survive.
place.
We
Wow.
didn't have anywhere we were headed. And
That's
that's what put
good.
a big stop for me and you, I think, in our progress. And now that here comes the second one, don't glide. You're
Mm.
grinding, you're going through hell. It's one thing after so much resistance. But once
Yeah.
you hit that glide, because you've stepped into who you're supposed to be, you
Mhm.
step into how aware you are of self,
Wow.
and you're headed towards that dream. It's no longer resistance. You're going to hit bumps. I'm not going to say that's perfect. You're not going to glide real easy,
Yeah.
but you're going to glide. You're not going to grind anymore. So I've started slowly taking grind out of my vocabulary, because everybody's like, oh, getting back to the grind, get back, that. But you don't want to always be grinding, because in grinding, you wear yourself down.
Ooh. One thing about you speaking today. All right. All right. Come on. Speak. Come on, baby. Speak.
um, and then the last thing, and again, this is one of those things that now looking back on it, once he said this to me, I was like, oh, I gotta save it. And this felt like the most perfect time to say it. Is
Ooh.
that how can you see the picture when you're in the frame?
Mm.
How do you know what you want if you're so busy trying to be in that when you haven't taken the steps to get there yet?
Mm.
See the bigger picture, know how to get there, but don't put yourself there yet when you don't know where your starting line is. Because you're trying to see something, but you're in it. Like,
Yeah.
you're in a current frame trying to get to that one. You can't see the other steps.
Dang.
She's
It's
talking today. That was
that.
so
Come
funny. You
on,
really got
baby.
me. She said she talking today.
So unserious. But
So
I
unserious.
I
But I think those are such important things for us, not only in the space that we're
literally
in, but being able to look back and like see how certain things we're going through and learning now is helping us out.
yeah. And I mean, I think that right there it's so many things, but what really resonated was the you got to say the first thing you said about the night.
Oh, running from a nightmare but not headed toward a dream.
Running toward a nightmare and not headed toward a dream. And I feel like that too, when we're in like bad places, we don't allow ourselves to imagine any other outcome. Like, we're like, oh, we just want to be free of this, but it's kind of like we don't even imagine like what are we running to? And I think that's something that so I've heard recently was something like if you could imagine anything in the world, like why would you imagine a scenario where things don't go well for you? And it really kind of hit me. And I'm like, how often do
How
we do
often am I stuck in my anxious thoughts about what could go
that?
wrong?
Yeah. Ex-
Oh, I like that.
and exactly. And it really hit different because now in this space of life that we're in, it's okay to hope for things and like continue dreaming, even in spaces where maybe you're not in the best season. I feel like it's okay to allow yourself to dream. And like in this capacity that we're in now, I feel like it's all about moving forward. And like our 20s is a weird place in life where you don't know how you're going to get where you want to be. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like that. When am I going to make it? When am I going to make it? But all the beautiful parts are all the things along the way. And I think that for me, when I look back at my Catawba journey, is what I've started realizing. Look at all the beautiful parts along the way. Look at how people that I was like, oh, I can't trust them became my friends. Look at how people like you that we met, like we are so friends to this day. And like we met even when we weren't our best selves, but we were able to see the light even in darkness. Like and when we were very, very dark. Like all the beauty in that. I mean, we did things that we never thought we would. You perform spoken word, like some all these firsts that led you to be so, you know what I'm saying? All of these firsts. And even like I remember I had an the person who was my RA, she like dragged me on stage and was like, I want you to sing, like you should sing because you can do
Oh,
it.
I
You know?
wish I were there for that because it was incredible.
Yeah. And I was like, I told nobody I was doing it, things like that, because I was
Oh
nervous and
my
now it's
God,
like,
that hyped me up. I remember that got me like, I was like,
yeah.
oh, I can do whatever risk went up there. Again,
Yeah.
and I said this, so I recorded a very brief intro prior to you getting on,
Mhm.
about how much you inspire me.
Oh no.
That's kind of where I want to leave off this podcast because one of the major reasons of um wanting to record this with you was not only to get your word and just every beautiful thought that I know me and you constantly have with each other, but you inspire me to just keep going because we do have that light in ourselves. And who are we to dim ourselves down for others?
Whew.
Me and you are going to shine from this point forward. No
Yeah.
questions, comments, or concerns. And I think I said it earlier, but my work does a what went right. And when I every time I've brought up you like twice now because I'm
Aw.
like, this is the friend that like reminds me who I am. And I don't say that, I completely mean that in like a how most arrogant people are like, oh, I'm the best ever. Like you are the person that reminds me, like, I keep putting myself here and I'm through the roof, dog.
Yeah.
I am amongst the stars, like on a such a
Yeah.
serious note. And because of you, I'm able to remember that on a pretty regular basis.
Oh, my friend. Listen,
A tear.
this actually made my heart so happy because I mean, you've done the same for me. And even when like I couldn't see the good things, you were always there to remind me, like, hey, like they're there. And like if you keep going, like it's something beautiful going to come out of this. And I think like now we're at that part where we can enjoy it. We can look back and say, dang, man, we was going through it or whatever, but thank God we did that together. Thank God that you were the person that was there. And like as much as like, you talk about me inspiring you, but you have inspired me. I mean, I always say something I admire, and I've told you this, is your courage. You have always been in places like you're away from home. Like this is a Cali baby, okay? Like from California, North Carolina, not knowing where you're going, different states, stuff like that, just on pure faith. And like you have made everywhere you went your home. Like you found where you belong, new things to do, ways to inspire people. And you've used our stories to turn that into helping other athletes like us so they don't ever go through the things that we did. And I think that right there, that's beauty in like purpose. And I feel like it's so divine the way that you do that. Even the way that you speak to people, the way you give life to them. There's nobody else in my life that I have ever met with such a beautiful soul and like somebody who will take something as like horrific as the things that we went through because we were in the trenches, and turn that into something that inspires and helps other people never feel that way. Never let, I honestly, like you going and seeking out a mentor, figuring out how can I do this better? How can I relate to people like me to make sure that I save the people who people forgot about? Like that to me, the passion, the purpose, like the drive to do something like that, even when it might hit painful things for you. You had to address all those things in you first and then go out and help other people. Like that to me, that gives me life. Like, I ain't gonna embarrass you and say anything else, but I will say that like you are my girl for that reason, because like the beauty you possess, not just, I mean, we know she's beautiful on the outside, y'all. We know. But
Please blow herself. Go on.
oh
Go
God.
on.
But the beauty on the inside, that's unmatched. And like that light, even from miles away, because we're miles away, y'all. I'll tell y'all, we're miles away, like really always has me coming back to you. And that's why we locked in forever. Forever.
Oh my God, Riz, I am so happy that we got to sit down. It was kind of spontaneous because I asked you yesterday.
Yeah, worked out.
To sit
How we
down
do.
and really just get get our thoughts out, because you truly are just a gem. Like I said in the beginning, I'm very blessed to have you as a friend. I'm very blessed that we can have these conversations, because they're not always pretty. They're not always the best. Sometimes we cry. Sometimes we're just angry as I don't know what. But at the end of the day, you need somebody like that. And I'm glad it's you.
My whole heart. Can you not? Can you not? It's the way you act.
God.
This girl done got me about to cry on this. Listen.
I love that for us. But
thank you very much, friend.
To everybody listening, thank you so much for joining me and Rissa as she chimed in with Jaleesa.
Ciao. Ciao.
We will, well, I say we. Rissa will definitely be back on the pod, so be on the lookout for your girl. You want to leave the people with anything amazing? Go check out our Instagram because she's stunning.
Oh Lord.
I'm gonna drop it in the description. Description.
What I want to leave y'all with is, I would say find you a friend like Jay, to be real. That's all I can really give to you. That's my blessing in life.
Thank y'all for chiming in, and we will catch y'all next time. Peace.
Okay.